festival was devoted entirely to maroon communities from the Western Hemisphere. The photograph, which actually appears on that slide, of him clasping hands and looking into the eyes of the king of the god. Underneath that red. Separated by 400 years, Earlites do that. There's a lot to Earl's life, which is which embodies the metaphor. The stone that the builder refused shall become the cornerstone. When I first thought what I might say to this at this gathering, I wanted to say something about the fact that Earl became Rastafari when he was probably 14, 15, 16 years old. We're talking about the middle of the 1950s. And one, of course, does not become Rastafari. One knows Rastafari from the internal conception of life and the creator inside. But as an anthropologist, we have to talk that way, you know? So he became Rastafari in those ages. But this was a time when Rastafari was still a fugitive movement in Jamaica. A Rastaman in dreadlocks street. He can't ride no public transportation. He's not going to get no employment. He has self-reliant entirely. And he might be forcibly trimmed in those times. That was a common practice. Well, when Earl was 9 or 10 years old, he told me this story many times. His mother, when they were living in a place near James Street and Beeson Street in West Kingston, his mother would send him with a hot thermos every Sunday to carry to his brother, a legendary Rastaman in Bakawal named Bungo Sams. Yeah, Bungo Sams. And Earl was being exposed to the heights and depths of Rastafari from that age. I can only imagine the hustle from James Street to Bakawal, which was well over a mile away, you know, kind of scuttling through those streets in the gritty slums of West Kingston. Yeah, man, the man know himself. By the time he's 12, 13 years old, he's a man by this time. And he's exposed not only to his Uncle Sams, who's living in the carcass of a 1947 Ford in Bakawal, who is running a bakery in Bakawal and also part of the local ganja trade in Bakawal. Earl becomes Rastafari at a very early age. He becomes a man of transportation. That's why the elders carried me to him in the Red Hills in 1984. Because Earl was someone who Psalms bought him. First, he bought Earl a Rover. And Earl was so proud of this Rover. He said, "Jakes is the poor man's Benz, you know, that Rover. Yeah, man. Wait, police can't catch you in this car, man. Yeah, man, we outdrive them off." And then he bought Earl a truck, which Earl had painted with flames coming off the sides, like it's coming out of the engine. He called that the fire chariot. And the fire chariot was to carry the church, to carry the Nyabingi elders from the length and breadth of Jamaica up one side to Nyabingi ceremonies, wherever they might be happening in the cycle, the annual cycle of the year. And there would be, 6 or 7 of them by the 1980s. Earl was doing that. Earl was also, through his relationships with Psalms and his oldest brother, Ras Mission, Earl was also involved in the local herb trade. Earl used to tell wonderful stories about how when he's coming in from St. Catherine or St. Anne's, "Me not take no check, Jake. Me can't take no check from police. No, man. Central Village. When he's coming through those old times, not the way the road is now, in those old times, he's getting ready to be doing 100 miles an hour when he passes Ferry, because that's where the police station is. No, man, they'll never catch him. They'll never catch him, man. So Earl shared all of that with Mission. He shared that with his brethren and spar, Goalie, who I don't see here today, but should be here. Goalie was one of his spars from Red Hills, from Jump Street, and as Earl introduced me to Goalie, so I'm always going over to the Maryland side to see Goalie and his family, who keep up their own thing over there. But Earl had a deep and profound Rastafari connection that came from the very roots of this thing. So after the Jamaican Labor Party, the other highlight I want to mention, by carrying the elders up and down all over Jamaica, Earl acquires the de facto title Minister of Transportation, Divine Order of the Nyabingi, House of Nyabingi. Minister of Transportation, he recited that title proudly. He defended that title proudly. So when he's still young, when he's only 20 years old, with his fire chariot, the Emperor of Ethiopia is visiting Jamaica in April of 1966. April 21st, to be exact. And Earl is the person who's carrying the elders to Palisados to greet His Majesty. Wait for it, there's a book coming out on that in August, September by Jake Somiak. Enter the Lion.
All right.
Earlite's name is in there, of course. So, Minister of Transportation now. I started by saying something about, Earl embodied the metaphor of the stone that the builder refused. Because after the Jamaican Labor Party destroyed Backawal and all of those legendary camps and yards of Rastafari in that part of West Kingston, Earl got a tip. There's a long story about this. He got a tip on land up in the Red Hills. And that's how he came to move to Cypress Hall. But he didn't just move himself. He moved Bungo Sams, his uncle, and he moved Sam's closest brethren in Backawal, who I all got to know. Unfortunately, I never got to know Sams because he passed before I started my trot up in the Red Hills. But a brethren by the name of Bungo Lyde, who was very close with Sams, is someone he carried up there. Another brethren named Bungo Shefan, Bungo Joe. Bungo Joe was an original member of Ross Michael and the Sons of Negus. People would know that group perhaps. And Earl used to say, any Rasta in a district like mine is supposed to be a leading light. I'm not just supposed to be a light to my Rastafari brethren and sisters. I'm supposed to be a light to the community at large. Well, doing so in the Red Hills area was a very difficult thing, because some of you who know the Rasta history in Jamaica will recall that the Red Hills is where the followers of Claudius Henry killed British soldiers up there. Spitting distance, literally, from where Earl used to hang, and almost directly next to Goalie, his spar's house. So Earl took time, come in slowly. At the time, he was working for an appliance company. He was carrying appliances in Jamaica, and the only thing he had to build a home up there with was cardboard. Yeah, cardboard. Him started with a cardboard house in 1971-72, and then there's a photo that comes up over here that shows Earl standing there with his brick and mortar house, his block house, way in the background, up against the build that house in the mountain there. He built a garage page in that area of Cyprus. And in that garage was his Beckford truck, his Land Rover, that he must have cut with a torch many times. By this time, he had long been acquired skill as a welder from his older brother.
Yes.
From his older brother, yes. Lloyd, give thanks. And Lloyd ran a welding shop in Vineyard Town, and he got that skill there. His driving skills were honed, as I've described. So, the truck skills and all the rest of it were something. And little by little in the 70s, Earl comes in, he brings other elders in. Earl becomes a man who, for all of you Jamaicans would know, if we're putting Jamaicans on a continuum of morality, over here we have people with the bad mind. Them jealous of anything that you do good. Any progress you make, them carry you down. And over here we have the people who live good with them neighbors and fellows. Need I tell you where Earl rests in that? Earl is over here on the extremely live good side. So he becomes not only a leading light as a Rasta man in his community, he becomes someone who's providing commerce for the community. He's got a truck that he's hauling sand and gravel for construction projects. At one time in this whole mix, he was running minibuses, and the first run that the minibuses would take down to Hillfoot and into Kingston, he'd pick up all the children that were going to school for free and carry them to school. You had those kind of, and of course his welding business. I mean, probably can't, burglar bars on their houses, Earl's work. But the pinnacle, perhaps the pinnacle example that would give you a sense of the extent to which Earl lived good with members of his community, I discovered in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, when I realized Earl was keeping a Nyabingi for his birthday every year. February 16th, he would keep a 3-day Nyabingi every year. And he would bring in people from Clarendon and St. Catherine and elders who were now living out in country. And he would bring them in, his ritual talent, his drummers, his priests, and everything to keep a proper bingi. And of course, everyone in the district, Rasta and non-Rasta, would show up for this. So you have to feed them, you have to have a cook, and at Nyabingi, we ain't eating chicken chassis, man. We're not not named flesh. Is pure ital in Nyabingi. So he has to have a proper cook. And at these biggies, he might get 150 people at a session. It's all night. And so I asked him the question beforehand, because I said, this is perfect opportunity for Jake to videotape the bingi and make a film and a entire process of it. So I said, the last key to this is, I said, Earl, what about the sacrament? Where do you get the sacrament for 3 days of bingi? Because you're not an herb grower. Him say to me, I go to the police station. I go to the police station, they give me 2 crookers bag of herbs. I said, what? You a what? And I said, all right, when I come next month, we'll go film that. And, true to my word, when I was there, I said, Earl, we going to the police? He said, yeah, let's go to the police station. So we went up and I met the super. Earl said, here's my brethren from the Smithsonian. He's doing a film. And, and I said, super, look, I understand what the, reciprocity is here between Earlites and the police station. I really love to film the transfer of the, and look at me, you mad? You mad? She said, that not go on. That's not happening. That's not happening. But he said, just stand by, the herb is coming. The next day, as I'm coming into the bingi site, here's the police jeep with 2 constables who are moving the 2 crocus bags into Earl's garage. I didn't get it on film, and that was fine, but that gives you a sense of the kind of relationships Earl kept. Because typically relations between Rastafari and the police are not the greatest. But in Earl's case, no man, a different kind of dread, as I said. He was a man who lived good with people, all over. I said there are many stories I could tell. I've been all over Jamaica with Earl in 2000, my wife, who Earl knew, and my twins, one of whom is here, Jill, and her sister, Erin, we were getting ready to go to Jamaica, and my wife fell ill, and she transitioned in 2000. And the next summer, we went to Jamaica and traveled all up and down the width and breadth of Jamaica with my twins and a close friend of mine. And Earl was the peerless host. He was the best of the best. I haven't been in Jamaica again it's been 24 years since this last year when I was in Jamaica again with both of my twins together. And we were staying with a friend up above Gordontown. And they came to me and they said, Dad, this is a really nice trip and everything, but you know what? We really want to be with Earl. We really would, Earl, of course, was up in the States and by that time, and it wasn't never going to happen, wouldn't happen again. But my whole family loved Earl. Earl was my brother. My friends loved Earl. My brothers who didn't know Earl that well loved Earl. The times when I live in the DC area, so the times that I would go home to Vineland, New Jersey, in South Jersey, it was a rare instance when I went home and somebody didn't ask, how's Earl doing? How's Earl? Because he made a couple of trips to Vineland, and wherever he went, he was a somebody. Earl had this relationship with the Smithsonian through me. Am I getting the hook yet, by the way?
A few more minutes.
4 minutes, okay. Earl had this relationship with the Smithsonian through me. I told you about the Folklife Festival thing where, he with his rod dancing in front of the Nyabingi drummers was a feature at that festival. He is archived in the National Anthropological Archives at the Smithsonian. There's 20 hours of footage on his bingi from 1996. He was someone who was invited to the opening of the Rastafari exhibit that we did at the Smithsonian that ran for 4 years, from 2007 to 2011. I hadn't looked. We had a video, a 23-minute video that ran inside that exhibit. I hadn't looked at that video in a couple of years, and when I put it back on and looked at it, I was reminded that the first person who talks on that video is Russ Earl, and he has speaking parts that were in the Nyabingi section of the video. The video ran for, as I said, 4 years, 8 hours a day. I did the math on it. How many times people would have seen Earl? 36,000 times of testimony from Russ Earlites in that exhibition. Earl was also a support when we were planning that exhibition because we were involving Rastafari communities from around the world. One of them was in Panama. And in 2002, when we were doing research for the exhibit, I used a research fund to send Earl and 2 Nyabingi drummers to Panama, in part because I wanted him to connect with the Rastafari community there, but also in part because he had family in Panama. His uncle Dad's went there, which would have been one of his mother's brothers, and he reconnected with family in Panama through that trip, which I was immensely pleased. I said, Jakes, can you send some money down here? We need to do some window shopping. And I said, man, I'm in Ethiopia. I'm sorry, I can't use Western Union here. So anyway, it was, Earl and I laughed about these kinds of things. But Earl was a force of nature. Earl was I carry you with me, Earl. I carry you with me. Wherever I go, you go. And let me close this way. Earl was a car man. He was a truck man. He was someone, when he traveled, it was through the wheel. I can't tell you how many times in Jamaica when I traveled with Earl, I had rented some, like Toyota tuna can of a rent-a-car, and Earl would say, we're gonna go see a brethren, and, carry me up in some hill and point me down some goat path, and say, go down there, man. The wheel is round. I said, no, man, we have a walk. This is a walking path. I said, no, man, the wheel is round, make it roll. I'm amazed that, and I came up back too. I'm amazed that it worked out that way. Many stories of the wheel is round, make it roll. And he always followed that statement by another statement. Jakes, may I save all the walking for when it's time to reach Mount Zion. May I save all the walking for when it's time to reach Mount Zion. Well, my brother, you're walking now. You've been walking. And in my mind's eye, I can see you now. I see you now, Rastafari, ever faithful, ever living. And I see you there with all those elders you so faithfully carried the length and breadth of the island, to Bingi innumerable, Bungapuru, Dermanite, Bungawato, Mampa Ashanti, Sister Ina, your personal sister, Mama Bubbles, all of them. I see you there with them now. In the fullness of time, my brother, I and I shall sight again in the fullness of time. Until such time, walk good, my brethren.
Yes, baby.
Walk good.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Jake.
Folks, if we could get one more round of applause for Jake. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a few moments for a few brief reflections from family members, and then we will be traveling our way to the cemetery. For now, I would like to welcome you, sir. Would you like to come forward?
Steve. Apache.
Emma. So Uncle Earl was he was a dad. He fed me and my sisters countless days. When I say countless days, my whole life. Made sure we went to school, had money, made sure we had food to eat. He was always there. My mom used to tell me, go stop the bus. I'll make Earl get some food. And Miss turn and said to the driver, hey, I'm get you some Jesus for me. If he was in Jamaica, this would be a state funeral. This is better because it's more intimate, it's more private. Everybody could hear, see. But there was never a dull moment with him, no matter when. He made sure he was protected. It doesn't matter if it was his own kids. If you came across with him and you spent 1 hour, when you leave, you'll be transfixed, transformed. You'll be somewhere else. He used to drive the bus in his tank top and use his whole knee and steer it while he's building a spliff, carrying people. He was the first person, he took the door off the bus and took out the front seat so everybody could come in and out. He loved, I'm not saying he loved family, he loved people. Because anybody that came in, I remember I didn't know my sister for the first 15 years, and my uncle died. And we was in Uncle Mission funeral, and I came to, and he said to me, he was upstairs feeling good, he said, you meet your sister yet? Son said, yes, she don't come here. I said, no. His sister in the room next door. That's when I met my sister. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me. But there's so many stories. Everybody got one. I'm really close to him because his brother is my father, and his wife is my sister. Two sisters married, two brothers. So, but if you knew him, he was heaven sent. He took care of everybody. It doesn't matter who he was. As long as you came in contact with him when you left, you would be somebody different. The most down-to-earth person you could ever meet. The most loving person you could ever came in contact with. I remember when, I'm gonna do this real quick, show you, there's so many stories of him. And just like Jake said, it's true. I remember his van broke down with a whole, maybe 20 pounds of weed in Castleton. It had a flat. And the policeman that was stopping the bus on the road and checking, he tell him, put it over there, son, and go get a tire and come back and check about the things and go home on. Yeah. Christmas, he used to go to our shirt factory and fill up the whole truck with shirt, dress shirt. And he used to walk into Alpha Chief police station and him light him spliff and him walk in and tank top and say, soup. That one I hear one, Sergeant, give that. And he had his spliff in his hand, which is true. Everybody, every police in Jamaica know Earl likes him, having spliff and work with it. But that's who he was. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, he never believed in anything negative. So I don't think he would even attend his own funeral. So forward, never come back.
Oh, God.
When somebody calls to you, you don't turn around and look on them, you turn your whole body around. That's him. But better place. And I guess we all enjoyed it, right?
That's right, cuz. Apache.
We all enjoyed it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So at least he gave us something.
Yeah.
That the most important thing is take care of each other.
Yes. Apache.
Before I welcome any more family members forward, I would like just to make one brief announcement. There has been a slight change of plans today due to the weather at the cemetery. We will no longer be making our way to Monmouth Memorial Park today. The entombment is being rescheduled to Tuesday at 11 o'clock. However, that does mean that we have more time here today together. So I'd like you to keep coming forward, keep having your reflections and sharing your memories. I'd like to welcome any other family members forward at this time who'd like to share.
Jenkins, thank you for families and friends. Brother Jake, you already know. You know, in my family, we had uncles, and every uncle taught me something. My Uncle Mission was the first one. He taught me when you have and you know somebody's in need, especially a friend, you should never have to ask them, do you need? They shouldn't have to come and ask you, I'm begging for money. If you know your friend is in trouble, you're supposed to put it in an envelope and take it to them. My Uncle Mission taught me that. My Uncle Eddie, he taught me the words. He taught me words and the meaning of words and an education and how to speak. My Uncle Lloydie taught me ballroom dancing. Every uncle instilled something in me. My Uncle Earl taught me, don't stand there and make a man throw a stone and lick you, know. Touch that. When Auntie tell Uncle Earl, come up the hill, bring the fish, we got 10 family members there, we're cooking this. Uncle Earl, buy all the food. We start up on the mini bus, going up the hill, and all the kids is riding free, and all the elders is riding free. The bus is so packed up that we have to stop, let everybody off the bus till we get to the top of the hill, then everybody get back on the bus, and then we'll roll down that hill. Everybody ride free, you know. I don't know how he made money, but he sure did. Uncle Earl was a force. He wasn't afraid of anything, anyone reach. I have a right. And today, family, I want you to, I hope that us and our family, and I'm talking to Jenkins, that we aunties right now can represent the way all of our something, right? My mother left something with all of you, right? She ain't even for y'all look at that. Okay? Every one of our founding elders are leaving, and now we have taken their place. And I can only hope that my young niece and nephews, y'all take us, be parasites, drain us, use us, stand on us the same way we stood on everyone else. Jenkins, we are Jenkins. We will stand today, we're going to stand tomorrow, because we drink from a living God river. We eat from a living God. We don't worship no dead people. Let dead people dead for them dead. We don't have no dead in this family because we live off of a living God. And we worship a living God.
Yes.
We are Jenkins. And we're leaving our families are leaving us, but I'm only hoping, my young niece and nephews, that we're giving you even half of what we got from our aunties and uncles. You hear me?
Yes.
None of my uncles and aunties them can bury in a box, you know. Them got oh, come on, man. Y'all already know how this goes.
Hallelujah.
Y'all know how this goes, right? So, we're gonna go to our repast, and we're there. We're going to speak a lot. We're gonna tell stories, and we got stories that we can tell. Yo, when me and Uncle I come out of the garage, and them have 3 big bags of weed at once, and the police are rolled on them, just turn so. I make them ride back, and turn back home. Come on, and, yo, we ain't have no horn in our car, because in the horn, that's where the weed was. But there was not an elderly person or a child or a baby mother that did not know where to go for that food. You understand what I'm saying? We're Jenkins. We've been blessed. Every one of we've been blessed. We got a covering that can't be broken. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
So Jenkins, although we here dealing with this today, we standing. We aunties from this generation, we're gonna stand for you. Auntie Carolyn, Auntie Donna, Uncle Holloway's here for you, young Jenkins. You be parasites on us. You eat off of us. You live off of us because you're our next generation. And when your babies are 35 where we used to be, they're gonna call you old like they're calling me now, right?
Yes, God.
I want to thank everybody for coming here today. I want to ask any of his children, Ray, you can come up for me, baby. This is his son, Ray. And just bear with us through this. And please, we're going to the repass after this. Everybody, just thank you. Come on. She knows because of the weather, we can't place him in his mausoleum where he's supposed to go. So we have to wait because in this kind of, he can't go. You know what I mean? So we have to make changes and we're asking you to bear with us, okay? God is God, baby. We gotta be good. Walking out room full of rednecks and stamping